Nagbabalik po ang ating part 2 na magandang interview dito kay Bishop Peter Kang. Siya po ang Bishop ng Diocese of Jeju, Korea. At the same time, siya din po ang dating presidente ng Catholic Bishop Conference of Korea. So kung ano po ang pag-uusapan namin, siya pong subaybayan nyo sa pagbabalik ng Power to Unite with Elvira.
May biyayang darating sa atin. Hinirang ang ating bayan. Pinili ang bansang Pilipinas upang dito idaos ang 51st International Eucharistic Congress.
Dadayuhin ng mga Katoliko sa buong mundo.
Saksihan natin ang real presence ni Jesus.
Pinakamalaking pagsasama ng mga mananampalataya.
May handog natin ang pinakamalaking selebrasyon ng banal na Eucharistia.
Ipakita po natin sa buong mundo ang lubos na pananampalataya ng mga Pilipino. Magkita-kita po tayo sa Cebu. Christ in you, our hope of glory.
So, welcome back again, Bishop Peter. So, Bishop Peter Kang, because it's very interesting that you mentioned a while ago that you have been first, spent several years in Seoul as bishop before going to Jeju for almost 13 years. So I said this is a two different world because here it's very urban, the capital of Korea, and Jeju is an island. And Jeju, I think, is known also to be UNESCO heritage, right? So why is it's how do you call that, the UNESCO heritage safeguarded? What is there in that island that makes the United Nations to took notice of it?
Well, the whole island itself has a very well-protected nature.
Ah, okay.
Yes, we have many small volcanoes, already dead, sure, but volcanic areas and many beautiful coastlines.
Ah, even,
yes, and so the whole nature is very, very well preserved.
So it's very environmental free.
Yes, that's right.
So now that you spent 13 years as a bishop there, and how many inhabitants or population do you have in that island?
The whole population is more than 600,000.
So can you call that local, native? That is there their culture?
The majority are local.
Local people, yes.
Yes, that's right.
So what do you see the difference between people here in Korea and the inhabitants there in Jeju? Since they are very local, they speak their own language, I heard. Is that true?
Yes, yeah. It's very Korean, but quite different from the ordinary Korean language. When I was appointed as bishop of this diocese, when I heard the confession from the local people,
yes,
it was very difficult to understand.
Okay.
Especially when the old generation, the old lady speaks. It's almost difficult.
Strange.
I couldn't understand at all for the first several years, but now I could catch up. And but they, with the development of mass media and everything, they are completely absorbed by the ordinary Korean urban life,
okay,
by all kinds of modern culture. Actually, from ordinary everyday life, you can't distinguish any difference. But in their perhaps spirit and in their local history, they have there is a great difference. The history which the Korean people do not know at all. In Jeju, we have our own heritage and history and culture, which is very different from the peninsula of Korea.
So when you say different, in what way are they different? What is your observation that they are different from the Korean Peninsula, which you said, and you mentioned a while ago that most of the Korean doesn't understand. So Jeju is very rich in its history, in its cultural heritage. So what is this that is very typical that you have noticed?
The history which is not understood by the Korean people, I mentioned, was it concerns about a certain incident in 1948.
The Japanese War.
After the Japanese occupation. We were liberated from the Japanese occupation in 1945.
Okay.
And after that, there had been a strong clamor and struggle among the locals because of the ideologies, right and left.
Okay.
Yes, and from 1947, this struggle escalated a great deal, and so in 1948, there was a certain uprising among the people, among the locals, and by this uprising was led by a certain the leftist extremists.
Yes.
But they were very few, less than 500, I suppose, altogether. On April 3rd of 1948, they attacked 12 police stations in all over Jeju Island, and it was the beginning of the crisis and tragedy. After which, at that time, the southern part of Korean Peninsula was governed by U.S. military, temporary regime, and so by this uprising, U.S. military officials recognized this island. They expressed it like this: Red Island.
Yes, because of the ideology.
Yeah. So they decided to exterminate totally all kinds of the causes of this uprising.
Okay.
So they started to arrest and tortured and everything. And finally, they ordered, and the execution was done by the Korean army.
Okay.
And for the following consecutive 6.5 years, they killed more than 30,000 civilians, women, children, and elderly.
So that's another persecution.
Yeah.
And what is the role of the church here? How does the church react to this?
At that point, the church could not do anything at all. The Christians were very few, and there were only a couple of, I think, not more than 10 missionaries.
10 missionaries.
Priests, all Catholics, all together, Christians, less than, I suppose, 100,000 or something. And they could not do anything. The whole islanders were victims.